guys, Bilbo10,000 here, bringing you another Rate Their Chances video for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Before we get into today's video, I want to give a genuine thank you to everyone who has watched the first 3 parts of this series. The past few days have been some of the most successful days I've ever had on YouTube in the 5 years I've been on the platform, and whether you agree with my thoughts or disagree with your own ideas, I'm just grateful that you've given my videos a chance. I'll be creating more Smash content leading up to the launch of the game, so consider dropping a subscribe to stay up to date. And if you'll let me plug some of my other videos for just a little bit, before the Smash content, I created community game shows based around Minecraft, with serious editing and thought put into them. If you're not interested in that kind of stuff, that's all good, as I'll be doing Smash content for the foreseeable future, but if the sound of game shows piques your interest, consider checking out some of my old game shows. You can find a link to some of my more popular creations in the card in the top right, and there will be game shows being released alongside the Smash videos going forwards. Anyway, back to Smash. Today we'll be focusing on third-party characters and their chances to get into the Smash Bros. Base roster. With so many IPs already represented, it's gotten to a point where many players are now requesting and expecting third-party characters to start piling into the roster. And today I'll be looking at 5 different characters and their chances. Though I will warn you, today's third character was a personal request from a close friend, and this character hasn't exactly been requested, but I thought I'd tackle him anyway. Today's 5 characters are Geno from Super Mario RPG, owned by Square Enix, Simon Belmont from the Castlevania series, owned by Konami, Knack from the Knack franchise, owned by Sony, the Dragonborn from Skyrim, owned by Bethesda, and Crash Bandicoot from the Crash Bandicoot franchise, owned currently by Activision. Without further ado, let's begin, and be sure to leave your thoughts, theories, and opinions in the comments below. And be sure to check out the past 3 videos in the series. If you haven't already, you can find a link to the playlist in the description below. At first glance, to the uninformed, Geno doesn't seem like a third-party character. His only major gaming appearance was Super Mario RPG for the SNES, as a member of Mario's party. He's one of the original side characters of the story, and has gained a cult following ever since. However, after a single cameo in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Geno has failed to grace our screens once more. He's actually owned by Square Enix, as they were the developers behind Super Mario RPG, and as such, to get Geno in the game, you would need to get past the Square Enix company. This is partly why Geno has failed to appear as a fighter in Smash so far. He had tons of support in Brawl, but Square Enix didn't want to play ball. However, Smash 4 has actually changed his chances for the better. Square Enix added Cloud to the game, and gave Sakurai the rights to use Geno as a costume for the Mii Gunner. What does this mean for Geno then? It means that now Square Enix has their big name and Cloud in the game, Geno has the ability and potential to make it into the roster. Many people have theorized that third parties could have 2 reps per company, as Sega currently has Sonic and Bayonetta, and while I'd rather keep my options open, it would make sense for a second Square rep to be a character that has direct ties with Nintendo, unlike their other big name, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, who, while he does also have some ties with Nintendo, is more loosely noted for his other platform exclusives. Smash Bros. Is first and foremost a Nintendo fighting game, and while the series has taken a turn for celebrating gaming as a whole, it makes more sense to focus on characters that have a direct tie-in with Nintendo. Cloud made it in as a representation of the entire of Final Fantasy, which justifies his place on the roster as there were tons of Final Fantasy games that debuted on Nintendo systems. So Geno should have no problem being added in this case. On top of this, his moveset potential is varied due to the different various moves he uses in Super Mario RPG, and they could even pull from the movesets of other characters within the game to make Geno a representation of the entire game as well as himself. He'd be a prime candidate, and unlike more high-profile third-party characters, due to his cult following status, it makes sense that he wasn't a big E3 reveal, because not everyone would recognize him like, say, Sora. Overall, I really believe this is Geno's best chance at making it into the base roster. The cards are stacked in his favor, and it all depends on whether Sakurai and Square are willing to make this happen. I give Geno a chance score of 70%. As while everything is certainly lining up for his inclusion, we've had major upsets before. King K. Rool for Smash 4, anyone? As for a want score, I give Geno a 90%. As a European, I've never played Super Mario RPG, but I love Geno's design, and I feel it would be extremely unique compared to the current roster of Smash Bros. He'd be a great addition to the roster with a unique moveset, and would make the Geno fans extremely happy. So moving on from Geno, a character who seems to have all the cards lined up for him, to Simon Belmont, a character who rose to prominence as a potential shoo-in due to a single leak. This is going to be an interesting segment. Firstly, who is Simon Belmont? He's one of the main protagonists of the Castlevania series, being the original protagonist of the first 2 games, and he's a vampire hunter. He uses a whip as his signature weapon, but has been known to wield daggers, axes, boomerangs, silver knives, and more. He's so well known that he's one of Konami's most well-known mascots overall. However, Simon Belmont is here mainly because, as everyone in the Smash community is probably aware, he was included in a leak by VergeBen. That also predicted the return of all the veterans, the Ridley reveal at E3, and more. So people have taken his word as gospel to mean that Simon Belmont is definitely coming to Smash. But here's the thing. VergeBen doesn't have a spotless track record when it comes to leaks, and has been wrong many times in the past, just as many times as he's been right in fact. He also said a Castlevania game would be revealed at E3 as a tie-in, but when that didn't happen, he ended up backpedaling, which puts doubt on the Simon part of the leak being true, so I've decided not to take the leak into account due to VergeBen's track record in the past. So on his own merits, Simon is a Konami rep, and the potential character with the most ties with Nintendo. Since Snake is back in the game, Konami are clearly open to negotiations, and that could mean getting a second playable character. With Bomberman confirmed as an assist trophy, Simon Belmont or any Belmont from the Castlevania games seems like the next step for Konami's representation in Smash. Simon would have a varied and unique moveset thanks to his many different weapons and tools, plus we don't have a proper whip user in Smash yet if you discount Ivysaur's Vine Whip attacks, so he'd have a unique weapon to boot. As such, the big question is whether Konami is willing to allow Simon to appear. I imagine it must have been tough to get Snake back, given the current state of the Metal Gear franchise, and the fact that his inclusion in Brawl was a friendly request from Kojima, who now is no longer affiliated with the franchise. So, keeping in mind that Konami negotiations are a thing, I'll give Simon a 60% chance, as I think on his own merits he's got a high chance of getting in, but at the same time I don't want to go full in with him yet. Though, for a want score, I'll give him a 40%. I've never played the Castlevania games, so I hold no personal attachment to the character, though I'd like to see what his moveset is capable of. Have you ever wondered what true beauty is? Well, look no further, because as you can see, Knack is such a perfect sight that no matter who you are, you will look up to his majesty and fascination and revere in his glorious presence. This, my friends, is perfection, and I am here to preach Knack for Smash as requested by my close friend, Get Rickrolled. But being serious now, let's actually analyze what Knack could bring to Smash, if by some miracle, Sakurai and Sony were willing to communicate. Knack is a large relic, an item which can attract several small relics toward himself to extend his size and create a living organism, which is how Knack lives in general. Depending on his form, he has different abilities at his disposal. For example, small Knack can crawl through small spaces, move and dodge faster, but has weaker attacks, while large Knack is stronger, can pick up objects, though his ability to dodge is hindered. It's really cool how this is a character who can drastically change his size, and he can also produce projectiles, tornadoes, and shockwaves, gaining new abilities depending on his environment. We've never had a character in Smash that could change their size and appearance so drastically, and Knack would certainly add a legitimate, unique playstyle to the game. Now, the big issue is that 1, Knack is a very new IP that hasn't had the best reception, and 2, he's owned by Sony. And judging by how Sony's been treating Fortnite players on the Switch with the account issues, they don't seem to be playing ball when it comes to Nintendo and other consoles, to say the least. It's interesting to say the least. Knack, as far as a chance score, I'm afraid, gets a 0%, as Sony would honestly never add this glorious man to Smash since they're clearly saving him for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, duh. But my want for Knack runs deeper than anything I've ever felt before, and a 100% want score is the only correct answer for Knack, baby! There we go. God end me. If Smash is becoming a series that focuses on gaming as a whole and the celebration of games that aren't just Nintendo, it makes sense that they'd want to get a character that represents one of the biggest Western RPG franchises in gaming, and that's Bethesda's Dragonborn from Skyrim, also known as the Dovahkiin. The Dragonborn is a player born with the blood and soul of a dragon, who can speak words of power based on the tongue of the dragons, which can cause actual effects when spoken, the most popular being Fusrodar, which is a force balance push. So already there's a definite, unique aspect to the character, and as their character from the base game was completely customizable, their moveset could reflect that freedom of choice. There are endless possibilities as far as potential movesets, including traditional weapons and magic. Skyrim itself has been ported to every known console in the damn universe, and then some. I could probably play it on my toaster if I really wanted to, so it's a game that has gotten around. It's on the Switch as well, so technically the Dragonborn now has a history, no matter how short it may be, with Nintendo. The big hurdle for the Dragonborn is that Bethesda is a Western-based company, and so far the guest characters in Smash have been primarily based in Japan. It's a minor point, but something that could affect playability when we realize that out of the entire roster so far, only Diddy Kong was created by Western developers. Every other character came from Japan. The Dragonborn is also so customizable that perhaps a moveset might be tough to pin down when there are so many unique aspects to the character. Personally, I'd like to see a Dragonborn with different races as their ults, since I want a damn Argonian in Smash. But the real challenge simply comes from whether Skyrim is able to get a spot in Smash Brothers. I give the Dragonborn a low 10% chance of happening, as I really can't visualize this addition in any way, aside from as the surprise Cloud DLC character down the line. Plus, it's a big third-party character, so the fact they wouldn't reveal this character at E3 puts many doubts as to whether we'll even have a big third-party character in this game that's universally recognizable in the base roster. As for a want score, if there's no Argonian ult, I give it a 20%. But if there's an Argonian ult, I'll boost that to a cool 60%, as I just want my damn Argonian in Smash, damn it! I thought I'd end this video with a bang and tackle one of the biggest requests I've seen crop up over the past few months after the reveal that Crash Bandicoot's trilogy was headed for the Switch. Crash Bandicoot, owned by Activision, was effectively the PlayStation 1's mascot, who was made to rival the likes of Mario and Sonic with the famous TV commercial outside the Nintendo building, solidifying this act. He's not had the best time in recent years prior to the Insane trilogy revival, but with his original outings getting remastered, it feels like Crash is back in the public eye, and as an iconic video game protagonist is someone who people would like to see enter Smash. He's got a lot of moves he can borrow from his moveset, from his classic spin attack, to his fruit bazooka from Warped. He could utilize the crates from his series, such as an arrow crate for his up special, or a nitro crate for his down special. Basically, he's got potential for a moveset. However, Crash's main problem comes from his timing and the fact that, like Bethesda in the last segment, Activision is a primarily Western developer, and with the history of characters in Smash not having any Western reps other than Diddy Kong, this could hurt his chances, assuming this rule does hold true going forwards, although I personally would like to see that rule broken. And his remaster's timing is a little bit late for a potential Smash edition. His game was released in the summer of last year, but was only released on Switch early this year. Many people jumped on the Crash bandwagon simply because his game was coming to the Switch this year, which isn't the best way of thinking when it comes to speculation, especially when we know that the roster was probably decided at least mid-2016. We also have to consider the ballot. Did Crash hold any presence as a request there? Probably not. If he's getting in Smash, it'll be as a DLC third-party character, similar to Ryu, Cloud, and Bayonetta. As such, Crash gets a chance score of 10%. I really don't think he's likely for the base roster, but for his want score, I give him a 40%, because, get this, I'd rather see Spyro the Dragon over Crash. Fight me, Crash fans! Another 5 characters rated, another video ended. Honestly, there are so many third-party characters who I could do that I've got ammunition for many more videos. Heihachi, Ryu Hayabusa, Phoenix Wright, the list goes on. Who do you guys want to see me rate next? The highest liked comment in the comments section as of me scripting the next video will have their chosen character rated in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and remember that these videos are just my opinion. We're all Smash fans and we all have different outlooks, but we all love this franchise in the end. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons down below. You can see their names below this video. Shout out to them if you guys want to help become a patron yourself. Check the links in the description below, and I will see you next time for my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.